together for years on what we believe freedoms are. And we love our nation, we love our state, but what government does many times is it just grows. And it's by nature. And our founding fathers warned us of that many times over again. And so there's so many well-intentioned people that are our civil servants that work for the government, that actually serve, that are elected. But there's a check and balance, and we have to always make sure that the grassroots are involved in every decision that we make up here. So I thank you. I love the grassroots. I am a grassrooter. And I will tell you, our fight from the Trans-Texas Corridor on, I believe that the Tea Party had its beginnings with the fight against the Trans-Texas Corridor. And I stood on the Capitol steps, the South steps, and looked at a sea of people. And I was so happy to see y'all. I truly was, because while the bill was passed in 2003 as a part of a very large, huge transportation bill, it's called MOAB, bills. That in 2000, it wasn't long after I actually voted for that bill, went home, and I had read some of that in the Trans-Texas Corridor. Portion of it never talked about it being 1,200 feet wide, never talked about a lot of the things, but by rules and things that then happened with the Transportation Commission and the agency, it grew and grew and grew. And it was the grassroots that began to meet. And in 2005 we weren't real successful, but because of your efforts, by 2007, in between 2005 and 2007, I had lawmakers calling me going, I should have listened to you in 2005. And that was because of you. So I'm here to stand before you, number one, to say thank you. It is not big enough. I'm so proud to be a part of it. Transportation, tough, right? I mean, it's emotional. I'm working on a lot of different areas, eminent domain. I have a very important bill, Senate Bill 474, that gives more rights when somebody's taking your land, and they make the bona fide offer. Well, many times we're sitting there and we say, well, how do we fight this? And we have to hire lawyers, and so you're scared to have to pay those legal fees. I have a bill out there right now that says it's a basic loser pay. If you are able to go to the commissioners, the special commission, or on to court, and you get an offer that's 20% or 10% or higher, I'm going to amend it to make it 20% to try to move it. Then the entity that has eminent domain power has to pay your legal fees. So in essence, what we're trying to do is to make the bona fide offer be a real offer. Because truly, y'all all know this. If I walked up to you and said, you know, I'm really looking for some acreage and I'd like to buy this corner that you have, and you go, well, here's my price, and I say, well, that's too much, and I make a counter to you. You say, I'm sorry, I'm not wanting to sell. That's the end of the deal, right? But when somebody has eminent domain authority, they come up to you and they say, we're going to take your land. And you have no choice, right? And so we have to give equality to that process. And we're going to work on that. I've been working on that for a long time. SB 18, a step in the right direction. We have to continue to follow up. I want to brag on Craig Estes, who was the author of SB 18. And we were getting some pushback on 474, and he was like, hey, that was just the beginning. There needs to be follow-up. So I was real proud of Craig Estes for standing up. He's one of my co-authors right now. So I really think that there's a spirit to make sure that the people have the power, not the government. And I want to say something else about eminent domain. Guys, the best part of SB 18, I think, was making people, entities that have eminent domain authority report. I want y'all to know that it's somewhere between, depending on how you count it, 5,000 to 9,000 entities, public and private, that have eminent domain authority. The sections of the code, I think there's 200 sections in code that reference eminent domain. Scary. All right, let's talk about a couple other things. Senate Bill 485, which is a toll cessation bill, right? I filed it consistently. Steve Ogden was the first one on this a long time ago. It's about a business model that basically says, okay, a way to pay for a highway is a user fee. So you put out a toll on this particular road, and you pay for that road, and you could even, and I'm accepting this, you could even get a corpus of money that would pay for the maintenance of that road in the future. But that road should not be a toll road in perpetuity. And let's think about why that is. Because there's some people that are going to use that thoroughfare for the rest of their lives, right? They live on it, their workplace, that's the way to get there, right? And whether it's a church, it can be, you know, the everyday walk of life. I have constituents that I represent that tolling fees are mounting up to be bigger than their utility bills. And that is very, very difficult. And so the toll cessation bill is something that we must continue to press, and we have to get some kind of reform on that. I want to talk about a couple of other bills as well. One of the things that we had in law that said, you know, you get, if you take away what is today a road that's been paid for by the taxpayers, and you try to make that a toll road, you can't do that. You have to leave lanes that are free. Well, what they've done is they've interpreted that to make it a toll, frontage roads, access roads. I've got a bill that is going to correct that. It's something that we have to clarify in law, and I think that's really important. And Terry, thank you and your group for agreeing and helping me craft that bill. And then a couple of other bills that I want to talk about. We've seen high-speed rail by private entities coming on, no pun intended, like a freight train this session. And that is going to impact my district and a lot of districts along the way. And so I'm a joint author with Senator Hall on SB 444. And I'm also have filed SB 1601, which prohibits a high-speed rail from exercising eminent domain. And specifically, we've had to go in, and we're not talking about current railroads. We're talking about private entities that can come in and take your land as well. So we're working on, a lot of different issues. SB 939, which makes traffic and revenue data public.
Yes.
Currently, these traffic and revenue data are kept secret by law, and these studies have sometimes been shown to be a little bit overly rosy. And again, I think this is access to information. We need to have that information. Sunlight is the best disinfectant, and that is in life, right?
Especially in this building.
As a parent of a 16-year-old and a 12-year-old, I ask lots of questions. Transparency in life, right? Like when Lois Kate's now driving. Lois Kate, where are you? Right? It's true of government. As long as you give people the information, the people will make the right decisions on how we move forward. They will let their elected officials know. Guys, the very best bills that I have ever filed in my life come from the people. They come from constituents that come to our offices, and they give us the ideas and say, here's a problem, help me solve it. My eminent domain bill, SB 474, I had a lady in my office who was dealing with a pipeline company, and she literally cried and said, I cannot go through this again in my life. And it was a terrible experience. And it made me start to really look deeper and say, what are the solutions? How has this gotten so lopsided that the people don't have a voice? And when their land is being taken, how the offer is made, and instead of going diagonally across my property and rendering most of my property void, why can't they go down the property lines and make those angled cuts instead of going at right angles and things like that? We're going to work on those issues. I will say that funding our highway system is extremely important. We have waste at the Texas Department of Transportation. We're working on that, right? But I want to compliment Senator Nichols on SB 5 and SJR 5. You do not raise taxes at a time when you are Texas enjoying an unbelievable economic environment. Even when the Eagle Ford Shale and the price of oil has gone down, we are still creating more jobs than most of the other nation combined, right? During this time, you take revenues and you dedicate those to highways. And when I say highways, none of them are free. You have paid for them. Whether that's on your motor vehicle sales tax, whether that's through your gasoline tax, or even a sales tax. It can be fees that licensors pay. There's a lot of revenue coming to our state. Our revenue cap this year is $107 billion. Surely we have enough money in Texas to dedicate to our highways and to build roads with your tax dollars without tolling them. Thank you for being involved. Your voice is heard by so many of us, and there are a lot of people working on this, but it wouldn't be this way if it weren't for you. So I say thank you for being here. Continue to walk these halls, meet with your lawmakers, meet with your staffs, tell them, talk to them, get their ideas, and give them your ideas. That's how we better government. I can't end without saying, may God bless you. And we know that God has blessed our great state of Texas, but may He continue to do so in the future. Thank you so much.